Welcome to Locker Room Talk. I'm Joe Gorman. This is Matt Marin, and we have a special guest with us today, Ilya Laksin. How are you doing, Ilya?
I'm well.
Yes, Joe is still recovering from the Taylor Swift concert he went to.
May he R.I.P. in peace.
Yes, he will be.
I'm surprised he's allowed anywhere near
Taylor Swift fans.
Just our fans, not even her alone.
Yes, Joe and Finnegan and the pets will be back next week. I know people were very upset the pets were not on the episode last week.
Like we would have gone into their apartment,
stolen Finnegan.
Well, the studio says there's no pets allowed, guys. So sorry, we wanted to do all that.
Right? Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. So like the tier for fans is like fucking Joe, Finnegan, Bombastus.
Yeah.
The apartment itself.
Yes.
And then I think you and I tied for a very respectable fifth.
Maybe. Yes. What's up, Ilya? How are you doing?
Have you guys podcasted from here for
just
before?
Last week and this week? Because Joe and his Gumar Kelly were in Denver.
I saw Joe earlier in the week. Yeah.
He just got back a couple days ago, but he just is burnt out from traveling.
He's so burnt out, dude. But we were thinking of like having a guest, and you're one of the best guest we've ever had. Like Matt said, like, you know, I think he'd be a good guest for the podcast, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
So I'm
you know what
glad
the problem is?
here.
You are being sincere, but you refuse to sell it as sincere, and it's just like it undercuts the sincerity.
It sounds sarcastic.
Like
I've been told that when I'm being sincere, that I sound sarcastic.
Yeah,
you know, like
literally
I
just
love
that
you.
was awesome.
Yeah,
like everything you say sounds insincere.
Yeah.
He's just used to speaking in the same way women speak to him when you say he has a big dick.
Yeah, it's just like when you're like
all joking aside, a woman has never said that to me.
But if she did say it if she says it sarcastically, I think it counts still.
Yeah,
because she could have just like not said anything.
I mean, I could take the recording and manipulate it so
she's
that
like,
it doesn't
it's so
sound
big.
sarcastic.
Yeah, you can type it out and send it to a friend. And be like, she said that you have a big dick.
Yeah. Also,
you can't
a dick feels bigger if you're like not turned on at all, like you're not wet at all.
Yeah.
Then the dick feels big because it's painful.
Right. So if you have a small dick and can't turn on a woman, you're actually kind of increasing the size of your penis.
Folks, are you writing this down?
Do you think it's too close to the out of the gate to have started with that line?
It's too quick to start.
To dry rape someone into confidence.
Dry rape is so gross.
Yeah.
Officer, it was dry rape. Yuck.
Yeah, that's an.
Do you get more years on the sentence if it's a dry rape?
There's probably an aggravating factor.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that's why I always have a little keychain of lube on me just in case.
Right.
If I'm going to spontaneously rape you someone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take the longest sentence possible.
Spontaneously. Right. Well, women love a guy that's spontaneous.
They do.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And, which is why you'd think most rapes would be a little bit like there wouldn't be such a big deal, but it's the spontaneity doesn't outrank the violation. So that's why.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I didn't understand that spontaneity. That's why we have fucking Ilya on the podcast.
We have a smart guest.
I just know how to
that
pronounce
roof is over.
The bar for being considered smart by me and Bobby is pretty low.
Bobby and I.
Me and Bobby McGee.
There you go.
If you're Bobby McGee, then it would have been appropriate.
Hell yeah, dude. Shout out to Bobby McGee if you're listening. Although I think you might be a fictional character. I'm not sure how that works.
I think so.
Janis Joplin was so, and I know this is coming from me, so fucking ugly.
I genuinely thought you were gonna say she was so fucking hot. Like the intensity with which you started it was like
I thought that
like you were preparing for a fight.
But then when he said this is coming from me, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. Because I always come out in front whenever I criticize someone's looks, especially if they're a brave, strong woman.
Yeah.
I preface it with I know what I look like.
Yeah.
You know, trying to undercut the criticism like Eminem.
Well, not only does it undercut the criticism, it's you're bringing an air of authority to it. It's like as an ugly person, I'm telling you,
I could use the U word as someone at part of the community.
She was an exceptionally ugly person. Did you hold it out like you thought your shirt had the word ugly written on it?
Yeah. As a member of the
as a member of the shirt,
as a member of the Shaquille O'Neal community.
Yeah. I'm in the ugly community. You're in the big doofus community. It's perfect, man.
Hell yeah.
But
I'm the fucking mayor of the big doofus community.
Oh man. So where do you think you fit in the big doofus community? Are you the accountant?
I mean, I'm not. I don't sign on to this riff.
Okay.
At all.
I guess you could do that.
I don't think I've ever said
See, that's
doofus
something you
before.
could do instead of yes-anding a bit. You can actually just say, I am not participating in this bit.
Look, I can contribute, but I choose where and how I contribute to a podcast.
Right.
Ilya, you got to participate in all riffs, or some people get very upset. All right.
Who gets upset?
Careful. If you don't participate for too long, we will call on you.
I have to raise my hand.
Yeah.
I'm in the back of the room. It's like, oh, I don't want to say something witty.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to, in class, anytime I knew I don't know, I feel like I was the only one who knew this strategy. Whenever I knew the answer to a question, I would raise my hand to answer because there were plenty of times I wouldn't know the answer. And then the teacher just would never call on you.
Yeah.
Because the worst nightmare is to be you never say anything all class and the teacher calls on you and you don't know the answer. The one time you get to talk.
Have you ever screamed out like when you don't know the answer? Like, I knew the other one though. So, if you really,
You
want to have
should
my
have
hand.
called on me last time.
It's like, don't you think it's weird that when I raise my hand, you don't call me, and now you call? Like, it's a bit. That's on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
if
maybe
you
I
raise
don't
your
know.
hand enough times, they'll almost get annoyed that you're raising your hand and they won't want to talk to you. And then you control the narrative. I was a fucking manipulative little kid.
You saying like it gets annoying if you raise your hand too often gave me fucking cringe flashbacks to being in a gen ed history class in college.
Yeah.
Because I was a history major originally. But I was the only major in my freshman gen ed class. And it was all like, I went to a state school, SUNY Plattsburgh. You know what I mean? So like everybody was dumb, including myself, you know? So he would ask the question. And I would raise my hand just because it's history. I know history. And then eventually I was like third question in a row. I was the only one raising their hand. And he was like, Bobby, you can't participate for the rest of the class. And not like he wasn't mad at me, but he was like, is
it like the comic who makes fun of the person laughing really loudly in the audience?
Kind of.
I hate when that happens. The comic's
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy, that fucking laugh. And it's like, what? Now he's not going to laugh at you. Why would you do that?
I have been that guy laughing at an open mic because I have as the listeners probably know, a strange, loud, annoying cackle.
Yes.
And I laugh at shit I don't usually laugh at punchlines, but I laugh at like a funny premise or like a weird thing that happened.
Yeah.
So I'll just laugh. And then an insecure comedian will be like,
that wasn't the joke.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, okay. Or they'll make fun of my laugh. And then you're right. When someone makes fun of your laugh, you don't want to laugh.
Yeah.
And it's not even like fuck this guy, I'm not laughing now. It's just like you've kind of taken that element of joy out.
Why don't you laugh at punchlines? That's where you're supposed to laugh.
No,
when I can anticipate the punchline, it's hard to,
But
But
if it's a good punchline, then you shouldn't really anticipate too much. I get you can still appreciate the joke, but I'm like, I'm just saying, like, wait a bit. Just
my problem is I laugh at open mics or shows when a comedian is fucking up. When it's a complete train wreck, I find that way funny. I've seen too much comedy.
Mike Racine got mad at me at a show one time because we were doing actually Ben Miller. Yeah. May he live forever. That's not how that works. But
we do that with Mark. And Ben. I guess Ben could live forever too.
I hope Ben lives forever.
He barely lived through childhood. He should be in an iron lung right now. I don't know if he's gonna make it to his 30.
Google Ben Miller, American comedian, and that riff will make your side split. But so Ben had a show, and it was like an awful ambush bar show, and that's not a criticism of him; it's a criticism of ambush bar shows. You know what I mean? So people don't know that a show's happening; they're just like, "I'm trying to eat my."
That's like if someone raped someone. It's like that's not a criticism of him. That's just a criticism of rape in general. Like, he was doing the thing. Ambush bar shows don't exist in the wild. People have to perpetuate them.
I said it as if it's like unavoidable.
That was his choice. He did it.
Well, it is sometimes you reach out to a venue or a venue reaches out to you sometime and they're like, we want to do comedy shows, or you're like, I want to do a comedy show, this would be a good space for it. And then the people who they've never run a comedy show before, so they're just like, all right, there's the stage, go. And then they just kind of fuck over everyone who's sitting in the restaurant trying to have a nice time.
There's no worse place to be on earth than an ambush bar show, except maybe Mogadishu.
What's Mogadishu?
I think it's okay. Mogadishu's okay right now. It's in Somalia.
Aren't they in the midst of a civil war?
Are they still?
I think so. I think it's ongoing.
I haven't kept up with my Somali.
This is way over my head. I thought you were talking about some like restaurant, like Mogadishu.
He's like, I love ramen.
Little Mogadishu.
You guys go get some Mogadishu later?
But anyway, Mike Racine got mad at you.
Oh, right. So he's headlining the show.
Right.
And he comes late, and the aura that I get is that he's sad that
when he realizes it's a bad ambush bar show.
And so he's doing he's doing jokes, right? Like he does this hilarious joke about how like his wife's from Staten Island, but she's a speech therapist, and then he talks in a Staten Island accent. It's hilarious, man. But anyway,
man, if he didn't hit you already before, he's gonna hit you. You see how you recount his act.
I think Mike Racine is very funny, but go ahead, Bobby.
So he's doing like some bit, and the bit's fine, but the people aren't laughing at jokes.
Yeah.
So the bit like he does punchline, zero laughter. He points to someone and goes, "Where are you from?" And
you start laughing.
Because that's just so very, very funny.
Yeah.
And the reason because he went, "Oh, yeah, some of the new comics in the back don't realize that sometimes you got to talk to the audience." Yeah. I'm like, bitch, we've been talking to the audience all night. You just got here.
Yeah.
That's I feel bad. Well, I don't feel bad because laughter is involuntary.
Yeah.
And it was a funny moment that I should allow myself to enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's probably, I'm sure he doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
In that moment, he was like annoyed.
Yeah. No,
Italians don't hold grudges.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do like at a mic or a show where it is. I mean, when a comic just is like out of shit or whatever it is, not gonna like the train wreck is fun, especially for me with Mike Racine. I would find it funny because I know how funny he is. So if it's someone I know it's funny, that's a little more fun for me. I will still laugh if somebody who's terrible is doing terrible and having a train wreck, so that could be fun too. But it's more fun because that's almost more sad.
Well, the difference is when someone's bad at it and it's going poorly, they don't have the instincts to cope with it.
Yeah.
So it's funny a different way. If you're a good comic and it's bad, like you'll still riff stuff that like even if it doesn't connect, like I'll recognize as funny.
Yeah.
Like your funny asides about like how things aren't going well. But when people are bad and they just don't know what to do in the situation, they're just spiraling out. That's like because you're always wondering because then sometimes they veer into like they're just gonna say the craziest thing they can.
Yeah, there might be a Michael Richards moment at any second.
Everyone has two dogs, and one of them is Michael Richards. I'm about to yell the N-word.
I think. Well,
and the other dog is like, so what else?
Yeah. What's been happening in the news lately?
It's like I should have gone with the so what else. Never listen to the other dog. I never need to pull that ripcord.
As soon as Michael Richards got off stage, he was like, "Oh, I should have said what else is going on."
Yeah. Fuck. It's like I always have those two in my head. What else is going on? Or 40 years ago, you'd be hanging upside down with forks up your asses. It's always one of the two.
I don't know if someone else saw this, but wouldn't be like immediately after he did that, he should have done another set where he did the same thing verbatim and pretended that was like an act that he was working on. I think that would have softened the blow.
Yeah.
Because the problem is it felt like it came earnestly.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this was the thing I was working on.
It's a bit I'm working on.
Yeah.
You should work on a bit.
He's trying to work out the kinks
He
here.
says the N-word 4 times instead of 5 times.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, don't get mad. I understand now. Rules of 3 in comedy.
Yes.
Yeah. Or multiples of 3. I'm going for 6.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a show earlier this week.
Really?
Where it was one
How do I get on? Sorry.
Yeah. it was a roast battle against AI.
Ooh.
And that was
Al for short.
Yes. And it was kind of what we were talking about. The crowd recognized that I was funny, but found it more funny to cheer for the robot over me.
Yeah.
The crowd recognized you were funny. I think that's important.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they had advertised the show in the New York Times, so it was like a New York Times crowd. They're really known for their sense of humor. Yes,
it's funny because if we're playing charades, I wouldn't have known Jew. I wouldn't have guessed Jew. That's like, okay, hat, beard. Yeah. Like I would go like that. Like
Oh, see, what I was trying to communicate was Santa Claus, like a mall Santa.
Mall Santa.
Yeah, that's what the New York Times.
Who owns the newspaper.
That's who owns the new media. That's who runs the media. The mall Santa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they do like an AI themed show. So it's also kind of like an alt show. There was like improv in there, and then kind of the main thing on the show was the comedian who's a roaster roasting a AI roast battle. And there were 3 rounds. The first round is just me roasting AI roasting me. And they didn't really tell me the full format. They told me it was a ridiculous amount of jokes. They told me like 2 to 3 minutes of jokes per round, which is like 10 to 15 jokes. So I wrote like 40 something jokes for this. And then during round 1, the AI I do my joke. Yeah. They're like, you'll go first, AI goes second. AI starts doing its jokes, and I think it's cutting me off. And I'm like, I wrote all these jokes. I'm fucking doing all the jokes. So I just start bullying. I'm gonna shut up, bitch ass robot, you fucking AI. I'm like, just. They told me they had done the show a couple times before they got like the media coverage for it. They said I was the only one who like actually battled the robot. Everyone else was like polite. And so once I started like bullying the robot, it just became the story of the night that we're going to cheer for the robot and not you.
It'd be funny if it was a screen and the robot then just made like AI images of like you fucking your mom or something. Yeah. It's like, how can I write against that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, AI images.
Yes. Well, it was AI Sarah Silverman. So round 2 is I'm going to make fun of Sarah Silverman, and AI Sarah Silverman's going to make fun of me. So they have me do like 3 minutes of stand up, and they put like, they took information about me.
You should have just sang Imagine.
Yes.
For like 30 seconds.
Well, the thing is with the stand-up, there was information they put into the AI about me, and AI wrote jokes about me. So they gave me like a list of topics I needed to cover about myself in my stand-up set.
So you had to write a new set for that?
Well, a lot of the stuff
pieces you have.
I have a lot of bits about most of the stuff in there. Yeah. So I'm doing a few minutes of stand-up. And I'm doing well doing stand-up. Once I'm not battling the robot they all love, they like me again.
They're so gay for robots, dude.
They were. And it was like, there were like reporters and stuff in the crowd too who were like recording things. So it wasn't like a big, I still think me and the AI Roast Battle got the biggest laughs of anything on the show that night.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can attest to that as someone that has sex with robots and you.
Yes.
It's top tier.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other bussy out there? Trash.
Yeah.
Trash, Ilya.
So
hate to say it.
Like we're just never gonna be on the same wavelength sometimes. I have to tell you, this whole thing where like I get you're doing this weird whimsical. It's not me. It's just not my thing. I know what you want. Like, good for you. I'm happy for you, but it's not my thing.
Bobby is gonna desperately trying to make Ilya his friend by the end of this.
I'm happy to be your friend. It's just like comedically, they're just things that are just different. Look, I go in some areas that people don't want. People, that's how it works.
So you're telling me that all bussy matters? That none of it is trash?
See?
Just like that.
And that's what I'm saying. It feels like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Based on your reaction.
So anyway, I wrote Sarah Silverman. Sarah Silverman then does jokes about me personally. And I did say during the stand-up, I was like, I acknowledged it all. I was like, I hope you all realize what a terrible situation I'm putting myself in here. Like, you all love this robot. You hate me. Now I'm going to give you a bunch of secret personal information about myself with the robot to make fun of in front of all of you.
It'd be funny if it just like disclosed like your bank of details and so it's like, oh my God, how do you know this about?
And the AI, like a lot of the jokes, it's funny that a robot is saying them about a person. If a human just said it in a roast battle, some of them I don't think would have worked. It was like Matt Maron's last name was shortened from Marangopoulos. I wish he would shorten his comedy material.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. I'm using that.
That's really good. I would have walked off stage after that.
I mean, I'm also reacting to everything. I'm looking at the robot like, fuck you, shut up. I'm like,
oh, that's rude.
Acting upset.
Really?
It's a roast battle. You gotta have fun with that.
Were you really upset though?
Deep down, I was.
Okay.
I think that's a big thing also that the crowd votes for AI or me,
artificial intelligence.
If the robot loses, it doesn't care. They get to see me actually be upset about it. If I was in the audience, I'd vote against the human also. That's
you should have challenged the robot to an arm wrestling competition.
I should have. Yeah, I did.
Imagine doing that. Wrestling 2 non-humans.
Yeah. I arm wrestled a black man. That's how I broke my arm.
Sorry, that riff only worked for Canon.
Right.
Canon fans of LRT would laugh at that. But if you're a newcomer, sorry, baby, that joke wasn't for you.
Yeah. I also afterwards, someone in the audience told me that the thing is, me and the robot were both saying like crass things, but when I say it, there's a thought of he might mean it. No one thinks the robot actually means any of the things it's saying.
Robot doesn't have any ancestors that own slaves.
Yeah, it's got the robot advantage. I did tell the robot that I've had sex with a woman and you haven't.
How do you know the robot's a virgin?
I know the robot's
a virgin robot? Dude, you're a robot. You know everything about a person.
Yeah.
You have unlimited strength.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, why do you think they have unlimited strength? What do you think it's not like some sort of like giant mechanical robot suit. It's just,
it was just an AI
monitor.
voice on a screen.
Yeah.
In a computer.
But I feel like
my Alexa can't just fly around and fuck people. That's how it works.
Not yet.
It's got to be connected to a Bluetooth, like a Wi-Fi. It's like
there's a whole thing.
It's not good just out in its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I rescind that then.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I'm never gonna get raped by a robot? Because that's great.
No, I'm not. I never say never. I was just.
It's possible.
That's actually what the Justin Bieber song's about.
Yeah, you gotta believe. You gotta believe in yourself, Bobby. You have to believe one day you can get raped by a robot.
I'll get raped by somebody, dude. An overzealous fan, perhaps.
Yeah. And then the
overzealous like, sounds a very polite euphemism for someone who rapes you. Sorry, Your Honor. I was a little overzealous.
Yeah.
Well, let's say we knock this down to misdemeanor overzealousness.
All the frat boys got a little overzealous and started dropping pills in girls' drinks.
It was some date zeal.
Yeah.
Date zeal.
Date zeal. So round 1, I'm roasting AI. 2, Sarah Silverman. Round 3, it's AI Matt Maron. They got clips like from the podcast to get my voice generated, and so
so it's Matt Maron but with a weird voice.
Exactly. My first several jokes were about how dumb your voice is, and the crowd did not get it at all. I'm like, it's my voice. The jokes that did the best were the ones in the first round when I was roasting AI, and I just kept making fun of scientists for not getting pussy. I said ChatGPT was named after the 3 things scientists never see: girls, pussy, and tits.
Ooh.
But they're all part of, pussy and tits are part of the girl.
Carefully, Ilya. That's biological essentialism.
Oh, that's true.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Ilya thinks women need to have vaginas.
What is biological essentialism?
It's basically like women have pussies and men have dicks.
Yeah, you're being problematic right now.
If I look if I look up in the dictionary the word biological essentialism, am I going to see either the word pussy or tits? I'm asking for the actual definition of biological essentialism.
Yeah,
that the idea that to be a man, you have to have a penis.
Yeah.
So it only refers to like human biology.
I don't think that right now there's an advocate of like trans dogs. You know what I mean?
An advocate?
Not yet.
No.
We'll start the. We'll be the first promoters of trans
Finnegan.
dogs.
What's the female? Fanny?
I mean, I did have my dog neutered, but he still has like the sack. I could easily turn that thing into a pussy.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I couldn't. I'm just saying, I have the material. Like, I have the supplies. There.
If you're in a pension, you need to.
I'm in a Doberman pitcher, and I need to turn it into. That's fun.
Yeah,
dog fun, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Anyway, I lost to AI.
I'm sorry, that's rough, dude.
Yeah, it was a 3-round sweep. I did in the 3rd round do well because I was just doing jokes about me. And also, when my AI Matt Maron came up on the screen, I was like, I think I got a good chance of winning this one. You guys hate that guy.
Mm-hmm. I think if I lost, I would have been like Prince of Dying Medium, and then I would have just walked away.
Yeah.
Fuck all those New York Times people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some woman from like.
Why are you cheering this thing? It's destroyed. This is the end of you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Do you not like working at the plant? At the bottling plant?
Oh, you think they brought people who work in printing?
Yeah, I opened.
No, we meant the editors.
Yeah, I opened by saying that we're all team human and got the crowd to chant human.
So guy has 8 got his fingers. It's like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, Matt, it's like a town hall meeting where they're all like union guys. Like there's a construction worker and there's a cop and there's a fireman. And
they would have liked my jokes.
An Indian chief.
The Indian union's strong. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a New York Times reporter there that they're just doing a big story on AI. But then there was some other woman from some publication who like took down my number, wants to do an interview with me. I did like a radio interview immediately after the show.
Yeah, I'll interview her.
So that was pretty cool. I got to be interviewed and explained, and everyone's coming to me saying, "You were really good. That was the most fun part of the show."
Everyone was doing that?
Everyone who I talked to after is like coming up to me like I'm the star of the show. I'm like, you all hated me. I think they liked me, but they liked cheering for AI.
Well, you know what it is?
I was a good villain.
You know what it is that everybody did any robots come up to you and say good job?
No, they did not.
Again, it's Bobby, like you have to distinguish AI from robots. They're not the same. There's different things. They're in a similar area, but they're not interchangeable.
What's the difference between AI and a robot?
AI won't have sex with you.
Oh, well, I'm team robot, baby. Artificial intelligence. I'm looking for artificial unintelligence. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the all these humans are coming up to you. And like it's like if you're the only black guy on a lineup, all the black people have to like be like,
right. Yeah.
Big up, brother.
Yeah.
You know, or however black people talk. I've never talked to them.
Do you want to rethink that one? You want to take a second stab at it?
Big up, brother. I've heard
Big up, brother.
I've heard
that
on the streets.
Yeah.
Certainly around these streets.
Yeah, where it's mostly people that speak English as a second language.
Yeah.
It's a Hispanic neighborhood, I venture.
Okay.
I think.
You venture.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, Matt, that you had this AI. I almost said robot, and then I stopped myself.
Yeah.
You had this AI experience.
Yeah, it was fun, and we'll see. I mean, who knows if this like these reporters are going to follow up or if I'll ever hear anything. It's one of those things so many times in comedy, like at this point I'm so jaded that anything that feels like it could be a big deal, I'm like, yeah, we'll see.
Never have expectations too high and then you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's written on my NDA before I have sex with a woman.
It is interesting. Any like newer comic I talk to, the things they're excited about, and I don't want to, I'm not going to be negative to them, but I also am kind of like, I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah. But I'm booked to get check spots.
Yeah.
I'd love to get check spots.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Hashtag me too, dude. I would love to. That's what me too is about, is about wanting to do check spots.
Well, it's like, because early when I first started doing stand-up, the idea that like somebody would put enough trust in me to like write this amount, like I had to carry the show basically. And it was
deadlift the show.
I had to deadlift the show, and it was a lot of work. But I think like, when I started comedy, the idea of anybody actually putting that amount of trust in me would have been a cool thing.
It was like a comedy version of a trust fall.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thought of comedy as like someone trusting me to do anything. I never thought of it in those terms. Like, oh, you trust me?
It's like being a godfather, Ilya.
Yeah.
Every show you're booked on, it's like you're the godfather of that room.
We don't have that in Jewish culture. So
I mean, whenever, whenever
what's the equivalent? What's the Jewish equivalent?
It's like an uncle? I don't know.
Godfather.
Just a guy.
Just God.
A moil.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. When you book someone,
Adonai.
I don't know. When you book someone,
Elohim?
especially like
I'm trying to impress Ilya.
When I book a Fight Club, if I'm booking like a main event, like part of it is I want the show to be good. So I'm booking people that I am trusting to do well.
I mean, heavy hitters, dude. Some more than others, but like, I mean, the last one you had, I mean, you posted a clip about it on Instagram today.
Yeah.
That guy was so good.
Yeah, Malia Simon.
That guy.
Malia Simon.
Well, biological essentialism.
Exactly.
BE for short.
Yeah. But yeah, there is
biological essentialist.
Yeah.
BE, biological essentialist.
And sometimes I've been booked on a lineup where I know everyone else on the lineup is clearly like a spot trade or a favor of some sort. And that feels very good. I'm like, I didn't do shit for this person. They actually just like me.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with the fact that I once held a knife to their throat.
Right.
And said, put me on your show or else. That would be scary.
And then 6 months later, someone dropped out last minute.
There's nothing that's how awful comedians are in New York City.
Who's the guy who held a knife to my throat?
I should really do something for him.
Yeah. But it is interesting. So many of the things, and when I first started doing comedy, I thought, God, I would like to do that. I have done all of them. And I just thought more money would come with them.
Yeah.
It's like doing road shows, starting my own show, running my own show, podcast, like all the stuff,
covering up an abuse scandal, all the big milestones.
Absolutely. All the big milestones.
I have this intrusive thought to tickle Ilya's feet, and I'm not going to do it because you've discussed that I should stop doing this to the guests.
Right. Yeah. We had some conversations off the air.
Have you tickled people? Here's the problem. It's like, I don't put it past you to give it the old college try.
Comedy is all about like taking risks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if I see barefoot and I have thought,
Cosby was a big risk taker.
He was a risk taker, dude.
He should have brought some of that on stage.
I had a conversation
with Cosby. No.
Yeah. I was like, I'm feeling drowsy, and I don't remember the rest of it.
The great overzealous comedian Bill Cosby.
So a friend of mine was like, he was doing this thought experiment. He was like, what if one of your favorite people did like the most heinous thing possible? It was basically like how far, I think the example he used was like, what would Eminem have to do for you to not listen to his music anymore? And I was like, I have a real life example, and it is Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Was Cosby a big guy for, like,
literally like one of my influences.
Okay.
Yeah. And his comedy is great too.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Matthew. I should have let you have that.
I was right there. I was about to. If you did it, I would have.
Well, the problem is anytime that comes up for like Cosby or like Woody Allen, Roman Payne, like, even though it's been done a million times, I'm always going to go for the joke.
Yeah.
It's always, it's like an perennial joke. It's like, this is solid every time.
I didn't know how big of a guy Cosby was for you.
He was the special Bill Cosby himself.
Yeah,
was like one of the first comedy specials I saw because my parents. This is how long ago it was. They went to the video store and rented like I think it was a VHS of Bill Cosby himself. It's his best special, and he's just killing.
Yeah,
with mostly clean material, though he does say the word asshole at one point.
Yes, he braces you for it though. I remember that bit.
Yeah, and it's
maybe you just an asshole.
Yeah, the bit is so simple. It's like they say cocaine is an enhancer. Well, first of all, he's talking about cocaine.
Yeah,
the clean Cosby talking about cocaine. He's like, yeah, if cocaine is an enhancer, what if you're an asshole? And it gets this huge applause, but to me, it's less like, it's not a brilliant punchline. It's more like,
Bill
I can't
Cosby
believe
said asshole.
Exactly. Yeah. So
if only you knew what else he was doing.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
That's so yeah, I have a real life example.
Yeah.
And I never really got into Woody Allen, but the thing is that his situation was more murky than Bill Cosby.
It's because he's innocent.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah,
I think I watched that documentary and like it wasn't like super compelling. I like the document, the filmmaker. He's made a bunch of like cool docs, but like it wasn't very compelling in terms of like, oh, I'm absolutely certain he's guilty. Like it cleared up something.
Allen one.
Yeah, the HBO 4-part one. It's like ultimately like basically they're saying like even though they'd had like shared like they'd had children like and adopted children like for a long time, like seemingly out of nowhere, the first time he's ever accused of anything is while they're going through this divorce. When he's visiting them unsupervised, like that's what makes it like it's just it would be an extremely anomalous circumstance for him. But the problem is the whole Soon-Yi thing is like what like if the Soon-Yi thing didn't happen, then I don't think people would ever seriously.
It's like best case scenario, he didn't rape his daughter, but he did marry his wife's daughter.
Yeah, which is not
still
when she was just crossing the finish line of legality.
So it's not a good look.
Yeah,
but they made it work.
They made it work. Yeah. Well, she's like Soon-Yi's written articles about how abusive Mia Farrow was and everything.
Yeah, and one of the
I
other
think
kids,
it's just kind of a big like fucked up family.
I think the problem is you can't really like you're never gonna know for
I believe
certain
all women, specifically Soon-Yi.
Soon-Lee, Sarah Palin, Ann Coulter.
I believe all women who accuse other women of abuse.
Yes.
Has Sarah Palin accused anyone of abuse?
No, I was naming women. Like right-wing women for some reason.
Just women that all the people who say believe all women would not want you to believe. I believe all women. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everything she says.
Yeah, especially those lasers, dude.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Which lasers though?
Oh, this is good too.
Can you mime the whole like if you were playing charades and you had Jewish space lasers? Can you mime like pretend you were doing that?
Oh, okay. Jewish space lasers.
Like you get the card and you're like,
okay, this is for our video list.
So I would do hand over the head first for yarmulke,
right?
Which I think so. The actual American
you wouldn't do like 3 words first. You wouldn't
3 words.
3 words. Person like book. It's like book. People, person.
Well, Jew to do each word. So once I got Jew down, it would be confusing because for space, I would just wave my hands around like this. Okay. But then people would be like, yeah, everything. They run everything. Like they still
the banks. They control the.
And then I'm like lasers. I'm doing finger guns. They're like, yes, all of the wars. We got it. Yeah, so shout out to Bill Cosby if you're listening. Pre 2004.
So the thing when you said your friend gave you that prompt, was your point that like, so what did you say?
That I would like if Bill Cosby put out a new album, I would not watch it.
Really?
That's
I would have to. I mean, come on.
It would be the first special visit I'd actually watch.
Oh yeah, I am watching. You're not watching if Bill Cosby drops another special?
I would illegally stream it.
Yeah.
Let's put it. I feel icky giving Bill Cosby.
I want to support a black man in entertainment.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that is a good point.
Yeah, but what about like you're also paying the camera operators, sound people, all the video editing, like
the line,
the bartender, the pharmacist.
You got to think about the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
But in general, do you go back and watch Cosby stuff anymore?
No, because it has this. It's not a moralistic thing. It's just like we said before, when someone makes fun of my laugh, I'm not gonna. It's the same thing if someone rapes 50 women.
Yeah, I think it is. It's tough for comedians. I can listen to music by a singer who's done terrible things because I almost don't even think of them when I'm listening to the song, but when I'm seeing a comedian, I'm empathizing with that person.
See, I like rap music, and rap music is almost always very personal.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you like Mariah Carey and Mariah Carey turns out to be an awful person. It's like, well, she didn't write All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like if someone wrote a personal song about them, then it feels kind of icky if they're a bad person.
See, I think it would be the opposite because unless they don't really address it, because then there's that disconnect. Like if Rodney Dangerfield, or like if Mitch Hedberg, like a one-liner guy, had done something horrible and they just went back to doing one-liners, that'd be like weird to me.
Yeah.
But if there were guys who were just like Louis C.K., not that it's like in the same realm of example, but like
another
Louis
redheaded
C.K.
comedian.
Yep, that was worth disrupting the flow. But like with Louis C.K., if he was like a one-liner guy, it'd be weird to watch him just do that stuff now, as opposed to him still doing the whole, kind of like being an open book kind of guy and still being silly and doing whatever, but like having that like. Yeah, so if
something happens with a comedian, you kind of have to address it.
Yeah, and Louis sort of addressed it,
yeah.
Not necessarily to my satisfaction, but he's not obligated to. I think his last specials have been great, I think, but it does feel a bit like an elephant in the room of like you should probably want to go into it a little bit more, maybe. I don't know.
I do think that we're going to hear more of the story the further we get away from the culture of Me Too.
Yeah,
because I feel like there's because I remember when Kurt Metzger was like, well, one of the girls was like sending him nudes.
Yeah,
but he doesn't gain anything from being like,
yeah.
Here's the nuance of it. So he gave like a very simple thing that he could do jokes around, and then that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's probably smart. But I think in like 10, 20 years, we might hear more of the story, and then sort of be like, and we got a little crazy in 2017.
I saw this criticism. Like I loved Mulaney's last special. I thought it was incredible.
I thought it was really funny.
I heard some people. I saw some people criticizing, saying well, some people said the dumb criticism was like, oh, it's like a one-man show. He's just talking about the rehab. It's like, yeah, and it was all great and it was hilarious. Funny. But also some people were like, well, he didn't talk about like the divorce and the living. It's like, yeah, he maybe didn't want to talk about like. He doesn't owe you talking about that.
I think it's tough with for me, especially with personal stuff. I'm like an open book and I'll talk about anything, but when there's other people involved and you almost have to like say negative things about other people in order to tell your story. Sometimes I've done it before, but like in hindsight, I'm like, I don't know if that's a great idea.
That's why
I want to,
No, see, that's why you could do what I do and is not be vulnerable at all on stage.
Yeah.
Or reveal anything about yourself.
Yeah.
I refuse to.
Just do the two wolves thing.
Yeah.
That's my act.
That's a dangerous game, Ilya.
Yeah, I walk a tightrope when I'm on stage.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel weird. There's been a couple times where I've done jokes and people have gotten upset, and sometimes it's not even about them. I've just had like posts online that are like about annoying people, and then somebody gets upset, and it's interesting. Like sometimes I'm like, if you think this is about you, I think that's more of a thing about how you feel about yourself than me saying anything. But
you're like, I hate my redheaded co-host.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what the fuck? And you're like,
Joe doesn't even have red hair. Like it's just like a long brownish, just like a Native American woman's hair.
Yeah.
It's just like.
But yeah, no, because I never, if anything is like a personal thing, a joke or something I think about, an individual personal thing going on in a moment, I at least wait a week. I have it in notes pad before I ever either do it on stage or post it online.
When you learn that a comedian broke up or is going through a breakup from their social media within days of it happening, that's unhinged behavior, I think.
Yeah.
And I get that there's this new realm of like every artist, almost up and coming artist, has like a parasocial relationship with their fans.
Yeah.
Where their fans just want to know everything about their life. But you could pull away from that like a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't need to let everyone know every single thing happening at all times.
And the Mulaney thing, like it could be like, what if I always think of this when people break up. Because I've read the subreddit Dead Bedrooms.
I don't know that one.
And it's basically like, my spouse won't fuck me. What do I do? And I think that's like a very common occurrence.
Yeah.
So it might be the most unlikable premise in the world for John Mulaney to get on stage and was like, my wife stopped fucking me. Eventually I divorced her. Women, right? You know.
First of all, it's so easy to picture him saying that in his voice. And right off the bat, I'm laughing as they're like, in his voice, the women, right?
Mulaney, I will write for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. There's so much like complexity, and I feel like, especially if you're the man that leaves a woman, I feel like that makes you very unlikable in pop culture right now.
Yeah, are they fully divorced? Is that like finalized and everything?
I don't know.
Because I wonder.
Ilya, you're a lawyer.
Yeah, because I wonder.
We all know. Let me check my pager.
Yeah. So is it? It theoretically can like a comedian, if they go on stage while they're going through a divorce, saying certain things, could those things then be brought up in the divorce case?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then it could be like,
it depends like for what purpose they would be. Like if it's if it's not an amicable divorce, and like it depends what you say, or what the grounds for. Like but if you're saying something shitty about a person, like I don't really know how badly it would affect you. But
couldn't you always
like in a lot? I mean, people go through like your text, your Facebook messages, like if you like all that stuff comes into trials all the time that people don't think about. Like in the future, people are gonna eventually like get used to, but like everything that you post online will come back to bite you in the ass in court, probably.
Or every text, every message,
yeah.
Could you say like if a comedian was like, this is what my soon-to-be ex-wife is like, and it's brought up in court, he could be like, it's art. I was exaggerating. I was lying. Everybody
You'd have to make the argument, and it'd be up to the judge or the jury. I mean, it depends why. Well, it depends if it's admitted in the first place. I guess it'd have to be relevant for some reason. Like if you make, like they do that all the time with those rappers cases, where it's like, are you actually confessing to a crime, or is this just like artistic license? And it comes out differently in different kinds of cases. So just don't be too specific about it.
Yeah. If your hip hop song is your hip hop song.
Big up, brother.
At least with Big Up Brother, I was trying to be an asshole. Hip hop song was in all earnestness.
That was right from the heart. It's like this is what deep down inside. I love your cute little songs. They have funky beats.
That is what a judge would say though. Like Exhibit A hip hop song.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say about your hip hop song?
Oh, the hip hop song. Oh, like if you're super specific, like if you're like a lot of drill rap is like that. They're like, I went to the ops on X Block, and then I at this project shot it up. I was trying to rhyme, and then I gave up halfway through. Like that's kind of like, okay, if there was a shooting at that project on that day, you might be a little.
Yeah, it's gonna be inculpatory.
Your Honor, it was parallel thinking.
Yeah. Have you ever represented or been in court where there was a comedian involved in any way?
Not yet, but who knows? Maybe I can have like the classic Jeff Ross, Greg Giraldo.
Oh yeah, you're gonna represent a comic in court one day. Yeah. Well, you do immigration law, so you can get some comic from. Actually, I have a friend in Canada who just who's now not allowed in the U.S. He was in New York and he overstayed his visa. And now he's stuck in Canada.
That's like running the light internationally.
Yeah, I know, you can't do that.
It's funny when I went up to Toronto a few weeks ago, and when I was at the border, they asked me all the questions, and they were like, "Are you seeing any friends?" And I was like, "I may be seeing a friend of mine who's a comedian." They asked me his name, and I said it, and then later realized that was the wrong name to say at the border.
They bring out the dogs and SWAT team. Like, get on the ground.
Tim Horton comes out in person.
Yes,
arrest you.
He rises from the dead.
They cock their hockey sticks.
I don't think. Do you know Tim Horton was an actual guy?
Yeah, he was a hockey player. Right?
Yeah,
short for Timothy Horton.
Yeah, I was.
I like that. That one I liked.
Yeah.
You know what, Ilya? If you,
I wish I had like a thing, like a little candy. I could give you like a little sweet treat every time. I like one. And at the end of each episode, we could tally how many sweet treats.
Training your podcast.
Gold stars, like in elementary school.
Good riff.
Yeah.
I didn't know he's dead though. But,
yeah, he died in a car crash back in like the 60s. He, towards the end of his hockey career, he started like the donut shop. And so that was just like, because back then athletes had to have a side job, maybe unless they were like Joe DiMaggio.
I mean, your side job happened while he was doing donuts.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fun. That's a fun.
And
sell that to Canada.
Then he, I think he was like in his early 40s, and he was towards the end of his playing career, crashed his car. And but the donut store was already doing well. And then I think, when someone dies young.
I don't know, Matt. This story has some holes in it.
Like a donut. Yeah.
Thanks for listening. No, we're not done. Oh, man.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people who don't know that Tim Horton was a guy.
Yeah, that's
weird because it's not an interesting enough fake name either.
Yeah,
it's like true. Chuck E. Cheese, who's like
who's
Tim Horton.
Like the famous baseball player Starbuck. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, I'm a fucking retard.
You did not get that?
Well, I'm like, Matt's the expert in all things jock. So I was like, Buck. Starbuck does sound like a fucking old baseball name. Yeah.
Said it's from Moby Dick, right?
Moby Dick.
Ooh.
Yeah. There was if you ever look up, someone just sent me a thing of like old baseball player names, and just like from like the 1800s, there's like, there's the famous one in Field of Dreams, Moonlight Graham. But there's other ones that are like Cannonball Titcomb, like just the wildest, weirdest names.
Yeah.
People would just be named Rocket. There was one guy named 10 Million.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he like the first black player? That sounds like
with gold chains and rings. Yeah.
It's like he was ahead of his time in a lot.
That's like the college football player. I saw someone posted a thing of like, the Key and Peele sketch where they do all the weird football names. Someone posted one of like modern college football players, real players, and like there's one black guy whose first name is Kool-Aid.
Really?
Yeah.
And his little brother Flavor Aid.
Yeah, there was one guy named
born in Jonestown.
One guy named Dude Person.
Dude person.
Okay,
that's it's like if you don't know someone's pronouns.
Yeah.
Like, who is this?
It's a little biological
essentialism. It's like your uncle trying to be like woke. It's like, so who's this dude person you're in?
Who's the fucking dude person that's swimming at Penn now?
Yeah, that lady felt like she runs a mean mile.
Ladyboy is such a funny phrase to me.
Yeah,
because it almost tells you nothing. They're like, it's
I think it tells
which
you,
one?
It kind of tells you everything. It tells me everything I need to know. you had me at Lady Buh.
Yeah,
and I was like,
Lady Buh.
They're like lady, and then you cover your
Bobby's confused, like Lady Boy. I have no idea what this is. Like, I know what it. What do you mean?
Might as well try it. Might as well try it if I don't.
What do you mean? That doesn't tell you all you need to know. I think it does.
Or in Jamaica, they say Lady Boy.
Lady Boy. Lady Boy.
Boom, bye, bye, in a lady boy's head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jamaicans, dude, because the thing is they're like viciously homophobic, but their accents are so cute.
They're so fun.
Yeah. So
Jamaica me crazy with that gay shit.
There's this weird thing that happens in like a woke open mic room in like Brooklyn where like a original Bushwick person, if you will.
Yes.
A person of color.
An Aboriginal Bushwick. A native Bushwickian. That's what I say.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
A Bushwick Aborigine. Yeah. So, a black guy from the hood.
A bush person.
Goes up and starts.
A bush person.
A person of the bush.
Yeah, I am from the bush. I am from Brooklyn, man. But he, like, if, a guy from Brooklyn, he's like saying kind of like homophobic, misogynistic stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of works in a way that if Matt or I got up there and were even like half as problematic, would get 0 laughs.
Yeah. Sometimes I still think there's some of the rooms I've been in where it's like a black guy and he's still a little bit too toxically masculine for them.
Okay.
But on some level, they respect his culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is the condescending thing. That's fundamentally, it's like, well, it's part of their culture to hate gays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're balancing two different things. We love gay people. We respect other people's cultures.
Then a white guy gets up there and they're like, but you know better.
Yeah. This person, he doesn't.
You're a white person. You're supposed to be intelligent and aware of things. I'm not racist.
Yeah. Yeah, yikes. Try that in a small town, huh?
Hell yeah.
I haven't listened to this song. Is it a good song at all? Is it catchy?
It's a dumb pop country song.
It's everything you think. Like, I thought, this is how stupid I am. When I thought there was going to be, it was like an intricate story about something that happened. It's just like fucking, it's like an old lady getting mugged.
All country songs nowadays
are
they're just lists.
Yeah,
They're not narratives. Like, he's like, Johnny Cash used to tell a whole story. Yeah. Nowadays, it's like here's a list of things I like. I like jeans.
Yeah.
I love moonshine from a jar.
Cold beer on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my chicken fried.
That's like that's how an autistic person would write a song. So here's a list of my favorites.
It's gotta be Bud Light. It's gotta be cool jeans. It's gotta be cool jeans on a Friday night.
Definitely jeans, torn jeans.
It's gotta fit just right though. It's gotta fit just right.
I don't like when they don't fit right.
I love my mom.
They're like, sir, you're perfect. Can you do a Southern accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of the pop country. There's some like throwback, Shooter Jennings, Chris Stapleton, Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson. There are like old school guys, but the pop country is a lot of that, which I still like because I grew up in New York, so that's all that shit's exotic to me. I'm like, they're talking about tractors.
Yeah.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. Tractors can be sexy. I've never seen a tractor before.
Picturing what a tractor is like giant titties.
Tits on a tractor. Back that tractor up. But yeah, so the small town, so it's just like, yeah, sucker punch someone, hit an old lady, steal from whatever, try that in a small town. And the video just came out recently. And in the video, as they're talking about all the bad things you can't get away with in a small town, it's like looting and protesters. Yeah. So now it's being called a pro-lynching song.
That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I'll have to watch the video to know
that's the fun thing
how
about
much of an exaggeration.
Oh, well, later on, they actually lynch a black man in the video. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's the fun thing about like all the dumb like cultural topics that come up is that it turns out you can have like bad takes on both sides of an issue.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of fun. It's like, well, that's dumb, but also your critique is dumb, and this is all very.
It's
dumb.
like I don't know, I don't really like this. I feel like it's kind of giving me a bad vibe, and somebody else is like, yeah, they want to kill black people. Like I wasn't saying that.
Yeah. No, I said it was giving me a bad vibe. Yeah. I think they're neutral on black people. If anything.
Yeah.
To me, it's like wholly uninteresting because it's like I know that he wrote that very simple song.
You think he wrote that song?
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably an AI by now.
The 90-year-old Swedish guy wrote that song.
It's a Sarah Silverman AI wrote the
song. So that song was written for him, and
yeah, but I feel like it was for outrage. It's like I can't, even if I was oriented so far to the left that it made me mad, it couldn't make me like. I'd be like, well, it was written to make me feel this way, and to have me tweet about it.
Make people upset.
100%.
I don't think so because I listen to a lot of country songs. There's a lot of other ones just like that one.
Yeah,
I think that they are just meant for people to be like, that's like my small town. I'm gonna buy this guy's album.
No, I disagree because the tone of it is like it's meant to make both sides angry in different ways. You're supposed to, if you're like a good old boy, he literally says good old boy. It's trying to get you pumped up to not necessarily lynch a black person, but fuck up an urban person. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think it is just trying to sell records. It's just trying to get people
to sell records by doing that.
His next song is gonna be called "Let's Go Back to the Old Days." Parentheses, if you know what I mean. And so the video is just him winking. If you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean, by Jason Aldean.
And then
it's great.
Right as the song ends, he's go, I'm talking about segregation.
Yeah.
What was that last part? No, don't try that in a small town.
And the one black guy at his band is playing fiddle. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I think we just wrote a Key and Peele sketch, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think there's like the first comment on the video when I went to see the YouTube video was like, I'm a black man, military, and this is how my small town. I really think it's just people who live in small towns that see liberal stuff on the news. And this is just a song for those people to be like, I still like my life.
Well, can I say, if I'm a black guy, by the way, I'm doing that exactly.
Yeah.
Because to be a right-wing black guy.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's a fun gig,
dude. If I was that, a million views.
I
want to
let everyone in the small town know that I'm not one of the bad ones.
Yeah. He's actually sweating. Yeah. He's like, let me tell you, I'm not like. By the way, he's talking about like someone getting sucker punched on the street, someone getting carjacked at a red light. All of that shit has happened in the small town that I grew up in.
Yeah.
The exception is the getting carjacked at a red light because we only have one light. There's only one traffic light.
Yeah.
So where's
the limited possibilities.
It's the one telling you to get off the stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Blinking red light.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's really proud of his local police force. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I don't get the new right wing thing. It's like, are we supposed to we hate the FBI but love some cops? Sometimes when are we supposed to love the cops now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we like small town cops, but not those cops in DC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing like January 6th, the Blue Lives Matter flag literally being used.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just so fucking funny. How are you the person holding that being like, oh wait a minute?
Well, I think it's also, it feels like if you're in a small town, the police force almost feels like a mom and pop versus like the NYPD, which feels like a corporation.
Ah, I see.
So I think that could be some of why small town people like the cops more, because they all fucking know them, grew up with them, and there's like more of a community there.
But the NYPD is a bit more urban. Or a bit more.
And some of them are a little more turban. I don't know if you see some of these subway guys.
I saw this Facebook thread because I'm actually 57 years old.
Yeah.
But it was the NYPD, and they were like, we want to give recognition to so and so police officer for doing such and such heroic deed, and it's a Sikh guy with the turban.
Yeah.
And the comments range, like people are saying ACAB, of course, but then like people with the fucking MAGA profile, or the thin blue line thing, are being like, it's inappropriate to be wearing hats on duty. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
That's so funny.
The amount that so this, if I'm that guy and I read those comments and I go out to do my job, I'm like, there's a million fucking people mad at me for various retarded reasons.
You gotta be you're one of the most hated people. If you're like an Arab cop.
Although you don't have to go online and read the comments.
That's true.
Like, you really have to seek them out.
Well, he does, because he has to communicate with that.
I was looking forward to your poignant point. I was like, oh shit, we're getting real.
That was yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, you put the nail on the dot.
The dot on the head.
As I was talking, I was like, oh fuck. This doesn't make sense.
Also, you started to put the nail on. I was like, are you getting nail in the coffin? What's
nail
the
in
idiom?
The coffin? It's like, am I about to kill an Indian in my ref here?
Well, you just crucified an Indian.
Yeah.
Hope you feel good about yourself.
You just got crucified. That's what they said after they nailed Jesus.
Yeah.
That
is what they said.
And then they
got
posed.
crucified.
Then they threw gang signs in front of it.
They did like the cross chop, and they were
Yeah.
like, hey, you just got crucified.
Do you think you stand in front of it, like when you build something and you kind of like look proudly? Do you think it's like, we did a pretty good job on this guy?
Yeah.
And then there's tourists walking by. They're like, who is this guy? And they're like, it's not important.
But it's like,
treason. We crucified
if it was
him.
today, they would have all taken selfies with it. Like,
No, you're the guy who actually gets. Well, did he have to build the cross himself? Or he just have to carry it himself?
I think the cross is already assembled.
Yeah. What if you?
It would be rude if they also made him.
Like, what if you're
build
the guy who built it and you want to brag, but you don't want to be obvious about it? It's like, man, whoever built that was pretty good. Right? That guy's been up there for days.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, it's wrong to crucify people. You're like, man, I just build the cross.
Yeah.
Okay? Someone's going to build the cross, okay?
I was just following orders.
Yeah. And who knew that would come back to bite him in the ass later?
Yeah, that guy lived until World War II.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, I used to do that too.
Are we at an hour?
We got a couple more minutes.
Okay.
So let's continue the Jesus riff.
The Jesus riff. Yeah.
No, I mean, all jokes aside, dude, Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. And we actually forgot to do both a land acknowledgement.
Oh, fuck.
And a prayer. We should do both to like hedge our bet. I'm unsure what our fan base is.
I can't
imagine it's people who would be upset that we didn't do a land acknowledgement and a prayer.
Who knows, dude?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm gonna take a wild stab that your fans are not. Also, it's a podcast. We're in landing knowledge. They don't know where exactly we are right now.
That's true.
They might be able to piece it together.
Yeah.
This land was originally
your land.
held. It was Algonquins.
Yeah.
Then the Dutch. Then
we don't acknowledge white people. The Dutch. No one does land acknowledgements and then says.
By the way,
white
can we isolate Matt going? We don't acknowledge white people.
Yeah, we don't. We need to do land acknowledgements. People are never like, oh, we got to mention the European colonizers also who first got here.
How far back do you have to? How far back are you?
Oh yeah, who was there? Someone here before the Native American? We just say Native.
Well, there
American.
were different kinds of native groups.
Yeah, we just say Native American for anyone here before Europeans.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Is that the acknowledgement is whoever like won all of the conquests before Europeans got here.
Exactly.
Look, we acknowledge the victorious Algonquins, not those pussy Lenni Lenape that got their ass kicked. Got sent back to South Jersey.
There's probably some like Native Americans who like hear different Native American groups like those guys were fucking assholes.
The Comanche. I've been reading about the Comanche.
Oh, jeez.
Dude,
yeah. Fucking
loved raping.
I almost unironically called them savages.
They were. I was easily the most overzealous Native American.
Very overzealous Native American.
Can you imagine someone heard me go Comanches, and they're like, "Wow, they're discussing Native American culture, like the most violence."
Yeah,
but you know who's who's not violent? You know who doesn't cross boundaries? It's me, because I looked at Ilya's feet, but I didn't tickle him. And as I understand it, you don't post pictures of your feet on Instagram, but you do have one. And can you tell the camera what your Instagram handle is before we sign off?
I sure can, Bob. It's at Ilya Laksin, ILYALAKSIN on all social media. Please follow me. Or just message me and say you heard me on the show and that you think I'm clearly their best guest and that sometimes Joe kind of drags it down. I don't know. Just saying.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell someone you know about the podcast. At Real Matt Marin. At Bobby Sheehan LOL. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.